Hello and welcome to another Overlord lore video, and today we are going to take a closer look at the strongest nation in the known history of Overlord and the New World. But before we're going to do so, let me quickly thank my Patreons for supporting this channel, as well as all users of the YouTube thanks function for supporting this channel. And finally, thanks to my Patreons for choosing today's video topic. And with that said, let's get to the topic at hand. At the very bottom of the list, at place number 6, we find the slain theocracy at its very peak. The 6 players, after saving humanity from certain doom, were able to conquer vast stretches of land and re-establish humanity as a force to be reckoned with. Having 6 players also meant that they could sire enough offspring to leave godkins behind, who at least have the potential to be as strong or nearly as strong as their parents. Slain also commands a powerful army, 6 elite forces known as scriptures, dedicated to one of the players each. It also has a very competent government, genuinely working for the greater good of humanity. It is able to hold powerful rituals up to the 70 of magic, and still has the world-class item of the players, namely Downfall of Castle and Country, as well as all the other gear. But the reason why, despite 6 players, and despite their world-class item, and despite all of the other perks, I rank them so low, is simply because the theocracy is still made up of some of the weakest creatures in the New World: humans. For example, goblins can actually survive in the Forest of Top. Humans can't. Goblins can be found in all corners of the New World. Humans, even with the theocracy around them, are just confined to the outer edge of the continent. And goblins can see in the dark and have better hearing, and are far more adapted in general to the environment as we humans are. So, in conclusion, even the strongest human civilization at its peak can't make it into the top 5 list. Now at the 5th place, we most likely would find the Goblin Kingdom, and I say this because there are legends of a Goblin King that fought dragons with an ashen branch and won. It is also said that he tamed dragons, and according to the web novel, he was also accompanied by a human princess and fought many other powerful foes. His power was so great, and his victories so effortlessly, that it is very likely that he was the one who actually has established the Goblin Kingdom. And it is also said that he had a family together with the human princess. And I, for one, would love to see what the reaction of the human prince or nobleman would have been, who was supposed to marry the princess, only to find out that he was anti-art thanks to a goblin. Now, come to think of it, maybe the Goblin King saved a human kingdom and then was given the princess as a reward, and his offspring. For let's face it, if you are an isekai level 100 guy with a world-class item, and you are capable of defeating dragons and marrying a princess, you would also consummate the marriage repeatedly, and with great vigor and interest. As far as how they even made offspring, it is thus far still a mystery, considering he was a demi-human and the princess was, well, a human, and both species are normally not compatible. But while we don't know the answer yet, I'm sure Demiurge and his happy farm will soon have an answer to this question. And while the heirs to the Goblin realm might not be as strong or powerful than he was, they at least would have his gear, a powerful kingdom of their own, and have also witnessed what power even a goblin could have. And again, the fact that we know about a Goblin Kingdom that exists today, and the fact that we know about a Goblin King, leads me to the assumption that both are strongly connected. And again, goblins, in contrast to humans, can actually survive in the New World on their very own, so they also can likely better maintain a nation than the slain theocracy maintains humanity. I mean, look at the Kingdom of Ainz. And while humans might be individually stronger than a goblin, goblins, again, have a quality that surpasses all of the human advantages, namely their insane quantity. And speaking of player-founded kingdoms that endure to this very day, 200 years before Ainz will go and grace the world with his visit, a mighty Minotaur sage had appeared and formed the to this day still powerful and possibly quite rich Minotaur kingdom. He was said to wield an axe so powerful as to split the sky in two. And even today his realm not only endures in the hostile interior of the continent, where great nations fight for dominance, but it also prospers and has trade routes that reaches all the way to the empire, where fridges and ventilators of the Minotaur and presumably human craftsmanship can be found on its very markets. Now the Minotaur sage was also known as the all-talk sage, for while he came up with such brilliant inventions as fridges or microwaves, he had no idea how they would actually be built. Though no one dared to call him the all-talk sage to his face, since he wielded an axe that could split the sky open, so he was likely level 100, just as Ainz, and his world-class item would likely be the axe he wielded, and it is also likely still wielded by his offspring, or at least by someone close to him and their lineage. And while humans and goblins are relatively speaking weak creatures, the Minotaurs are naturally strong, and thanks to their Minotaur king, they also have learned about the value of cooperation. The Minotaur king told his herd that humans are not food, but indeed labor and sometimes even friends. Although I doubt that the friendship part lasted for a very long time, it still meant that the Minotaurs had now access to all of the powers, perks and creativity the humans held, plus their own ferocious strength, health and endurance. So both benefited from an alliance of brain and bronze. And again, the very fact that they are highly sought goods in the empire made by the Minotaur kingdom speaks volumes about their power, because they are still living in the interior of the continent, which is far more hostile than the edges where the main story plays out. So therefore they also have to somehow protect their trade routes all the way up to the empire, or at least a nearby coast. Next in line, at only the third place, we find the kingdom with the most current potential, the Sorcerer Kingdom. While it is still young and hasn't reached anywhere near the size of the first and second place, it could very well surpass both places in the future. But since the Sorcerer Kingdom is still in its infancy, it only gets the third place. Nonetheless, its armies of middle-tiered undead, like the Death Knights and Death Warriors, could wipe out neighboring countries alone and with great ease. The population is well-fed, rich, and rapidly expanding, and many new territories are added to the Sorcerer Kingdom in a very short period of time. It also has already created vast networks of allied and dependent states around it, such as the Holy Kingdom or the Dwarf Kingdom, and the Dragon Kingdom is also being integrated into its sphere of influence. But even with all of its potential, as of yet, there are likely two nations that have surpassed it in the past, and the first was the at least continent and likely worldwide realm of the ancient dragons, ruled by the Dragon Emperor, Platinum Dragon Lords, likely father itself. The dragons held dominion over the New World. Their magic, the original magic of the New World, the so-called magic of the soul or wild magic, was able to run and flow free. But with great power came great irresponsibility, and the Dragon Emperor accidentally summoned not only the world-class items from another dimension, but since he failed to notice that it was a game world he was watching, he also summoned the players and everything else around these valuable items to the new world with them. And since it was a game world where the items originated from, the wild magic became twisted and deformed, and usurped by the new tier magic, because the spell, due to summoning from a video game, misfired, and in order to bring a bunch of data into the new world, the wild magic itself was distorted and largely been converted into tier magic, because again, the spell misfired quite catastrophically. But even so, the dragons reigned supreme likely for eons over the world, until 100 years after they failed, or at least partially failed, to correctly summon the world-class items into their own world, the 8 great kings appeared, together with their guild base, an entire flying city in the sky. They were powerful enough to not only fight, but indeed defeat the Dragon Lords at their peak of their power in an all-out war. Once their dominion was broken, they conquered the entire continent in the blink of an eye and held dominion over it, bringing every nation to either heel, or indeed its very untimely end, for anyone who dared to resist was destroyed. Even Surshana, the strongest player of the theocracy, was slain by the 8 great kings. And countless other powerful nations and species were wiped from the face of this very earth, and the average level, as a consequence from this mass destruction, was lowered significantly. But not only that, they did rule over every single species on the continent. They also furthermore promoted and refined tier magic, spreading it into every single corner of their continent-spanning realm, likely much to the dismay of the remaining dragons. Eventually, they became so powerful that no one else could defeat them, no one could destroy them, no one could challenge them, except of course for the 8 great kings themselves. Their own civil war tore apart their nation and ended their dominion, blinded by their own feud. They lost everything they had gained, including their second life. If they had held strong, the Great Tomb would have been in a serious trouble. But since they destroyed themselves, their old guild base and their world-class item are both now in the hand, or rather claw, of Platinum Dragon Lord himself. And with that said, these are, at least in my opinion, the 6 strongest realms in the entirety of Overlord's history. What is your opinion? Let me know down in the comment section. And with that said, I say thank you very much for watching, and special thanks to Arder Daddy Arder, Badger Ye, Bad Burrito 316, Beezer, Ben C, Brandon D, Chrissy, Crowley 0221, Sia, Crystal Prime, Dead Slime, Death is Mercy, Deathless Dragonlord, Demon Xenomorph 1987, Devin Downen, Ding Dong, Duckwagon, Dunkler Krieger, Dystopia, Dystopia II, Enigmatic Unicorn, Feral Shivan, Guy with That Head, Hector Marino, Hoss, Huster, Jacob G, Jana B, Jason, J Morris, Chromius, Kyle R, Lee K Long, Legendarius, Lelouch Britannia Wiffy Mustache, Lexus Fox, Lord Nishikian Rai, Lord Touch Me, Love Razor, Mervek, Mr. Shoes, Mr. Tweaker, Michael R, Michael Y, Nope, Oh Hell No, Normal Toad, Oh Kill, Overlord General Gasper, Paddy Pantom, Personage, Primus 11, Rhinomere, Q&A Caracos P, Shergox's Daddy, Shadow Lightning Wolf, Shrine Keeper, Super Tier Magic Batista Bomb, Supreme Cheese, Staris, Ted, Texas Deer, The Orc Warboss, Rock Ed Smasher, T.E. Wang, Vash Hawkeye, Vegito 27, Venture Fanatic, Wilhelm, Xenukai, and Zonagon. Thanks guys. Anyway, have a nice day, and I hope to see you all again soon under my next video.